In this video, we are going to discuss couple of questions. But before that, if you see the question, you can able to find so many number of buzzwords like lemmatization, stemming, morphins. You need to understand each of them so as to answer these questions. Let us learn about them without wait. So the first concept is lemmatization. Lemmatization is nothing but it is the process of obtaining the base or the root form of the word, so as to find out from where the word is actually originated. So if you see the example here, you can find saw. Here the root of this saw, that is the lemma of the saw, is C, which means that from C the word saw is originated. So in a similar sense, better tends to good, which means that good is the base word for the better, and it aims to return a valid word or a real word or the word which we are using in our language. Okay, that is a valid word in the sense sa must imply the relevant root word like C. It should not return any other word. Next concept is stemming. Stemming is the process of chopping down the word by removing affixes so as to achieve the same goal as the lemmatization. For that, you actually need to know what all the categories of the affixes. Generally, the affixes are categorized into four different types on based on how the words are added to a word. That is, if you see here, this is first one is a prefix, and second one is a suffix, and third is infix, and fourth one is circumfixes. Prefix are the word that are added before a word, and suffixes are added at the end of the word, and infix are the word that are added in between a word, and circumfixes are the word that surrounds the stem. As you can see in the example below, here do is the stem in both the cases and re or the prefixes attached to it. And in the suffix, the play and jump or the stem and full and ed are added as a suffix to the word. The next thing is the infix, where this word is inserted in between the word unbelievable. So this is an example of the infix. And circumfixes are nothing but which surrounds the stem, where you can find the this is the stem, mach is the stem, and get surrounds the stem, which is nothing but which precedes as well follows the stem. So this is what the circumfix is. But in here we are making use of English for processing. Okay, so which in English we most commonly making use of this prefix as well the suffix, and these two are not common in English language. So the second point is that it may or may not returns a real word. It may or may not returns a real word, which means that if you take it as an example, cutter, here after removing the suffix ter, you get cut, cut, which is a real word. Word better as an example, you may find after removing the suffix ter, you get bet, which is not a real word, which we are not using in our language. So it is not a real word, which means that stemming may or may not returns a real word. It returns a real word, but this case is not returning a real word. The next concept is computational morphology. Morphology is nothing but this is the internal structure of the word. The morphemes are used for the determination of how words built up from smaller meaningful units. These are all categorized into two categories like inflectional morphemes, and another one is the derivational morphemes based on how it impacts the POAs. This POA is nothing but this is the parts of speech. In English, we have eight different types of parts of speech, and they are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, and interjunction. Let us talk about them in brief. A noun is a word that represents a person, place, thing, or idea. For an example, we can say the dog, city, happiness, book, or some of the examples of it. And pronoun. A pronoun is a word used to replace or substitute a noun for the purpose of avoiding repetition. The example use cases are he, she, it, they, we. The next one is the verb. Verb is the word that express an action, occurrence, or state of being. Examples: run, eat, sleep is are. Adjective. Adjective is an word that describes or modifies a noun, giving more information about its quality, like happy, blue, tall, delicious. Adverb. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb, indicating how, when, where, or to what degree, like quickly, very, soon. These are some of the examples of adverb. And the next thing is the preposition. A preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun and another word in the sentence. It indicates location, direction, time, or a manner. So, example use cases are in, on, under, before, after. And the next one is conjunction. A conjunction is a word that connects words, phrases, or classes, indicating the relationship between them. For that, we will be making use of and, but, or, so, because. And the next thing is the interjunction. An interjection is a word or phrase used to express a strong emotion, surprise, or sudden reaction. And example use cases are wow, oh no. These are some of the example use cases. These are the 8 different types of parts of speech that we have in our English. Now you may aware about the parts of speech, but this inflectional morphemes, no changes in the POS, but in derivational it changes the POS. What do they mean by this? It will be clear to you only if you look at the examples. As you can see in the example below, here the input is drive and the output is driving. So in both the cases, the this is a verb. No, drive is a verb as well. The driving is also a verb. Adding the suffix will not changes the word POS of this word. But if you see this example, you can able to find the drive is the input word which is verb. But after adding the suffix er, it becomes driver, which is who is a person. No, so which is a noun. So the parts of speech of this input is verb, but the output is transformed into noun. So this is what the derivational morphemes and this is what the inflectional morphemes are. Some other examples for the inflectional morphemes are the root word is bring. From that we can produce other words like brought, brings, bringing. So for this derivation morphemes, we can keep logic as our example, root word. So from which we can form logical, illogical, logicians, and illogicality. These are some other words. So inflection morphemes create new forms of the same word, but these derivation morphemes create new words by changing the parts of speech. Okay, let us solve these questions. The question is to which of the following is or are true for the English language. Let me come from the last option. The output of stemming or always real word. The output of, if you see this, the output of stemming or always real word. Is it true? As we already learned it, like it may or may not returns a real word. So this case is not true. So moving up, the output of lemmatization or always real word. Yes, it the output of lemmatization always need to be valid and real word. So this option is correct, as we learned earlier. So the next option is the output of lemmatization and stemming for the same word might differ. Yes, if you take the word better into account, the lemma for the word better might be good, but for stemming, it will be BET. So both the same word better implies two different output in lemmatization as well the stemming. So this option is also correct. It implies different outputs. And if we see this, lemmatization works only on inflectional morphemes and stemming works only on derivational morphemes. Since lemmatization and stemming are not limited to specific types of morphemes, lemmatization aims to reduce words to their base or the root forms, and stemming involves the removing prefixes or the suffixes like affixes so as to achieve the similar goal. So both may involve inflectional as well the derivational morphemes. So this option is not correct. So the answer is second option and the third options are the correct one. So moving on the next question are true. The first option is given as ambiguity can appear in tokenization steps. As we know that tokenization is the process of separating text present in a corpus into individual words or tokens. If you take this into example, like will, here the same word will present so many times, but which implies different meaning. If you separate it into separate words, then different words will imply the different meaning. So there will be ambiguity in the tokenization steps. So this option is correct. So moving on next, this ambiguity will not appear in sentence segmentation step. This option is not correct because the we usually denote this period, that is a dot, for marking the end of the sentence, as well this question mark, or in some cases exclamatory marks like but what if the sentence containing this name, Mr. R. Karthik. Here you can see the period is present often in this sentence. Is it the end of a sentence? No. So there might be an ambiguity in the sentence segmentation step. So this option is not correct. So in such cases, we need to devise classifier algorithms to handle these kinds of ambiguities. So this second option is not correct. Functional words is generally more frequent in a text than any content word. The function words are nothing but the, on, the. These are all the function words. And content words or cat, sat, mat. These are all the content words in this example. If you see this, function words are more frequent. Yes, this is the is repeated twice. Yes, and these are the content word, and these content words are specific to the context. They are generally limited. So this option is also correct. That is, function words are more often than that is frequent than the content word. So this option is also correct. So the output of the lemmatization are always real word, which we already discussed in the earlier example. So this option is also correct. So the correct answers are 1, 3. An advantage of Potter's stemma over a full morphological factor. The first option is given as the stemma is better justified for a theoretical point of view. This option is not correct. It can be applied practically. So the next option is given as the output of a stemma is always a valid word. This option is not correct. As we discussed earlier, it may or may not be a valid or a real word. So this option is also not correct. The third option is given as the stemma does not require a detailed lexicon to implement. Yes, this option is correct. So the answer is third, 3. This is why. Of course, this Pater's schema is based on the assumption that we do not have any dictionary for this stem. That is, dictionary in a sense, lexicon for this stem to implement. So this third option is the only correct answer for this question. Moving on next. In linguistic morphology, DAS is the process for reducing inflected words to their root form. Um, Answer is stemming because as we already know that stemming is the process of reducing the words into their root form by the way of removing the affixes associated with the word. So the correct answer is stemming. Moving on next, morphological segmentation is an extension of propositional logic. No, this is not correct. It is does discourse analysis. No, this is also not correct. The correct answer is separate words into individual morphemes and identify the classes of the morphemes. Actually, this is week 3 content. We'll talk about this later. This is the last question of this video. Which of the following are instances of stemming? The first option is given as R to B. As we know that stemming is a process of chopping the word, but in the first option there is no chop occurrence of the chopping. So this is not a valid option. Rather, it is not stemming. Rather, it is a lammatization. So option 1 is not correct. In the second option, place became play after removing the suffix s. So this one is correct. So this option is correct. And the third one is saw. Saw became s after removing the suffix aw. So this is a process of stemming, but in the question it is clearly mentioned as per the Potter's stemma. As per the Potter's stemma, we should not chop the word if the length of final outcome is equal to 1. In this case, the length of s is equal to 1. We should not chop this word a saw by removing the suffix aw. So this is also a not valid option. So considering the last option, university, after removing the suffix ity, it becomes universe. So this is also a valid option. So the answers are 2 and 4. With this, week 1 content is over. Do you guys want me to continue this for the further weeks? Let me know about it in the comment section. Thank you.